What's up guys, my name's Liam and today we're going to be talking about Hystar's brand new Elite series, the Mirai. This mousepad was actually co-developed with CSGO pros and Valorant pros, so it's going to be the new standard for CSGO and Valorant. Let's check it out. And here we got the brand new Hystar Mirai, and Mirai actually in Japanese stands for the future, so they're trying to pave the way and be the future of mouse pads moving forward. And I do want to let you guys know that they did send this mouse pad out to me. However, I'm going to give you guys my true and honest thoughts on this mouse pad, and I do got to say that this is some really impressive stuff here. They really are enthusiastic about their products, and I can truly say that with the design of this mouse pad, there is no area where they didn't, try and go over the top, try something new, and try and push things to the limits of their capabilities. So really exciting stuff when you have a company that is truly passionate about their craft and what they're doing, so hats off to them for that. So let's go ahead and jump into the design of this mouse pad. And as you can see here, they go all out when it comes to the style of the mouse pad. They don't want to do something boring or something that's the same. They're trying to be unique and set themselves apart and stand out and do something different. And they surveyed a bunch of people when it comes to the actual size of this mouse pad, and they found out the best result was going to come in with a width of 49 centimeters and a height of 42 centimeters. So when it comes to the base of this mouse pad, this is a pour-on base. They claim to have used a sublimation process on the base of this mouse pad. And now I don't know what that means, but here's what I can tell you. When I compare the base of this mouse pad with others, for example, let's go ahead and pull up the Artisan FX Zero, and this is the xSoft version in the dye orange colorway. If you were to compare the base of these mouse pads, if you look here, the base of the Artisan mouse pad, it's sticky and it sucks to the desk, but you can still rub your fingers along it pretty well. The base of this mouse pad, however, it definitely feels more rubberized and there is much more friction. So I absolutely feel like the base of this mouse pad is way stickier than your typical Artisan mouse pad. So once you actually do stick it to your desk, it absolutely just suctions to your desk. And I'll tell you right now that I have never come across any type of an issue with this thing moving around on me at all whatsoever. All right, so next up, when it comes to the stitching, they claim that they created their own stitching process from the ground up when designing this mouse pad. And the stitching on this mouse pad actually does sit 0.5 millimeters below the surface of the mouse pad. And I would definitely say that the stitching on this mouse pad feels great. I have not personally come across any issues with it. It feels solid. It does feel a little bit more different and unique from everything else out there. But again, really good stuff. And I admire how they try to take a different approach here and do something different and unique to stand out. And when it comes to the foam of the mouse pad, they claim that they found the highest viscoelastic properties out of any foam that they've ever seen to use for this mouse pad. And it definitely feels durable and rugged. I've kind of tried playing around with rolling this mouse pad up. I never felt like I was going to damage it. I never had any problems with it going flat. And this mouse pad is actually sitting at 4 millimeters in thickness. So it is pretty plush feeling, but overall it feels really stable, really solid. And even though this mouse pad is 4 millimeters in thickness and it's plush, when you compare it to an Artisan mouse pad that's also 4 millimeters in thickness, I do feel like the Artisan mouse pad is a bit more plush and it sinks in a lot more. And honestly, I feel like The fact that theirs is a bit stiffer could definitely be a great thing, because, you know, I see a lot of people with the Artisan mouse pads complaining about how it's too plush sometimes, and when you push your mouse into it, it can scratch the sides. And I can truthfully tell you that even though I have been enjoying this Artisan mouse pad, I have had the issue where, you know, the sides of my mouse are always scratching along the surface and stuff like that. And I can report that I've not had a single issue like that with the Mirai yet. All right, and then finally, let's talk about the most important part of the mouse pad, which is going to be the surface. They describe the surface of this mouse pad as a mounted down hybrid texture surface mouse pad. It has an even glide along the X and the Y axis. And if you were to compare this mouse pad to something like the Hyun or the Hyate Otsu, it is overall a very smooth surface to the touch. Now, even though it is a smoother surface and the surface is a bit softer, I don't feel like it's as soft as something like the Artisan FX Zero. I do feel like the surface of this mouse pad, even though smooth, it is a little bit firmer, but I feel like it gives you a little bit more consistent results when you're gliding your mouse across the mouse pad. You don't necessarily get the inconsistencies of the softer mouse pads with this one. And they did state in the design process of this mouse pad, they tried obviously several different types of materials. And one of the things that they're really striving for when creating this mouse pad is they wanted a mouse pad that focused on not being impacted so much by humidity, and they wanted to focus on the longevity of the mouse pad itself. So with all that being said, this is going to be a limited drop on this mouse pad. It's only going to be 300 units. They do plan to drop this mouse pad on Monday, May 1st. So go check out their website. I'll leave a link down in the description so you can make sure to catch the time if you're looking to pick this up. And the cost of this mouse pad is going to be coming in at $50 US. So jumping into the comparison when testing out different mice, as you can tell here, I did use some of the top esports mice that are on the market. Here we got the Logitech GPRO Superlight, we got the Vaxee XE Wireless, and then we got the Hystar V3 Pro. And I went ahead through the Razer Viper Mini Signature Edition in here. I know that there's not any esports pros that I know of currently using this mouse. However, this mouse does have the smaller feet. It is smaller, it's a little bit lighter. So I wanted to test out the different types of feet out there and see how they all perform on this mouse pad. If you're looking to get the fastest glide possible on this mouse pad, you definitely want to use smaller feet. You definitely feel a little bit of initial friction and control when you're doing the micro adjustments and you're moving your mouse from a stop. But as you get up and moving, it does have a pretty fast glide. And when it comes to stopping power with this mouse pad with the smaller feet, I would definitely say that you get a lot less friction when you're coming to a stop. So overall, with the smaller feet, it definitely makes this mouse pad feel closer to a speed pad. And next up, we have the Hystar V3 Pro. These are just the stock skates here on the Hystar V3 Pro. And with this mouse, I would definitely say that the stock feet on here give you the fastest feeling out of the Vaxee and the Logitech G Pro Superlight. You do feel a little bit of that static friction with the Hystar V3 Pro, but I feel like this has a very fast and smooth glide overall. And I feel like the stopping power when you're using the Hystar V3 Pro is a little bit more comparable to speed pad. All right, next up we got the Vaxee XE Wireless. So with the Vaxee XE Wireless, these are just the stock feet on here. I feel like this is where it starts to get different, and I feel like this performs phenomenally on this mouse pad. With the more contact that's provided by the feet, you definitely do feel a bit of that static friction, but overall I feel like this mouse has more of a controlled glide and a lot more stopping power. And based on all my testing results, this is one of my favorite combos right here. And then the final one we're going to bring up is the Logitech G Pro Superlight. This is just a stock mouse with the stock skates, and I'd say overall, if you want the most controlled feeling and the most controlled glide, this is the mouse that's going to give you that feeling. When I use something on this mouse pad like the Razer Viper Mini, it feels closer to a speed pad. But when I switch over to the Logitech G Pro Superlight, just something with the skates, it definitely feels more like a control pad. When you're starting out and you're going from a stop to gliding and then coming to a stop again, you just have control the entire way. So let's go ahead and drop a sound test on these mice. We'll start with the fastest and we'll go to the slowest. That way it'll give you guys an audible cue on what I'm feeling. All right, so next up, let's compare it to some of the top pads in the market so you can see what the glide on this overall is really like. So in comparing the Mirai to the Artisan FX Zero, again, this is the xSoft version, I honestly feel like these are pretty similar in terms of speed. Where I would say these stand out is I do feel like the Artisan FX Zero just slightly has a bit more stopping power, probably because the material just overall feels a little bit softer and it's a bit more plush, easier to push into. I do feel like the results on the Mirai are a bit more consistent, however. But I would say that the Mirai is just a little bit faster than the FX Zero in the dye orange colorway. All right, next up we have one of the most popular speed pads on the market, which is the Artisan Hyate Otsu. When it comes to the Artisan FX Hyate Otsu, you can immediately tell a big difference between these two mouse pads. The Hyatsu has way less initial friction when moving the mouse and when coming to a stop. It slides around a lot more effortlessly, it feels way faster, and it doesn't have near the stopping power of the Mirai. And as you can clearly see from the test there, the Artisan is absolutely a much faster pad. All right, and then the final mouse pad I like to compare is going to be the Lamzu Energon. The Lamzu Energon has very low initial friction when you bring your mouse from a dead stop to moving it. And overall, the glide on the Energon feels a bit faster than the Mirai. All right, guys, so that's my final thoughts here on the Hystar Mirai. Honestly, I think this is a really cool mouse pad. I definitely feel like it's something unique. You can tell it was absolutely created with care and love, and it absolutely brings a unique experience. The one thing I would absolutely say that stands out with this mouse pad for me is I've had it about a month and I've used it quite a bit, and this thing absolutely feels strong and durable. And through my experience gaming on this mouse pad and using it, it feels extremely consistent. I have yet to notice any issues where it's being impacted by humidity or, anything else even for that matter. So it will be really interesting to see how this mouse pad holds up and withstands with time. But overall, I do want to say that this mouse pad does seem very promising, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for Hystar. So if you guys have any questions or you feel like there's anything I left out, please let me know in the comments down below. And aside from that, if you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.